This is Hannibal here from thehannibaltv.com. I did interview the Shockmaster a couple of days ago, Fred Ottman, who was also Typhoon and Tugboat. And I just wanted to explain how I would have booked that angle because I think as much as people say Dusty Rhodes is a genius booker, he made a lot of mistakes too. He was a big reason why Jim Crockett Promotions went out of business, and WCW in these years was not the best book company either in these early '90s years when Dusty was booking. So we all know what happened with the Shockmaster. First of all, I don't know why they a company that's worth so much would have used like a Star Wars mask with glitter on it. I have no idea for a character that they wanted to debut and actually get over. And he ended up winning the Fall Brawl War Games, even despite the fall. But let me just explain to you how they should have done it different. When he fell, it was on a Clash of Champions. Other than in the U.S. and there was WCW aired in Canada, but you couldn't get TBS here without a very special cable package. And in other countries, I'm sure you couldn't get TBS either. I don't know what the rating was, but I didn't even hear about this moment until YouTube came out, and most people didn't either. But instead of just ignoring it and pretending like it never happened and never mentioning it again, they bring him out in a completely different gimmick, which this gimmick wouldn't have been that bad for the time. This construction worker gimmick with no explanation. They still call him the Shockmaster, but even though he looks totally different and doesn't, Ole Anderson does his voice in the first one. They give him a normal voice, but they give him a clumsy gimmick. Why not just ignore that the Shockmaster thing happened and then have Sting do a promo since he did cover his face well. You never saw the Shockmaster's face when he fell. Have a promo just saying maybe that wasn't the best choice, or for whatever reason that didn't work out. This is the new partner for Fall Brawl. And he would have been off to a better start because, according to reports, even with the clumsiness thing, he was still over. I mean, there's no question he was talented, but obviously they made him a joke. They made him into like falling and stuff. And then, which I didn't even know about until recently, until after I did this interview, he became the Super Shockmaster, which he claimed that he was a relative of the Shockmaster. And again, instead of bringing back this guy, why didn't you go from this to just having Sting introduce this under a different name other than Shockmaster, which had been tarnished? Because honestly, in 1993, that look, and he's a big muscular guy, could have still got over. But I watched a few of his matches as the Super Shockmaster, and the commentators are still talking about how clumsy the Shockmaster was, and I wonder if he's related, if he's going to be as clumsy as the Shockmaster. So it just seems like they buried themselves on that angle. I don't know how much they were paying them, but they didn't book it well. And if Dusty Rhodes admitted that was his gimmick, he made a lot of booking mistakes. Because as I said, well, this is a really shitty look for him. This is not a bad look, honestly. And this, again, in the early '90s, I mean, that character could have had more steam, but instead they wanted to focus on the blunder that probably no one would even remember at the time, other than the people that watched Clash of Champions, because there was no YouTube. So, anyways, that's how I would have booked it. I would have just buried the Shockmaster since no one saw his face, and introduced either one of these characters under a different name than the Shockmaster, why keep associating characters with the joke name? I just don't get it. It falls under the category of WCW screw-ups.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you